Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Scrap Your Scraps Thursday night. Today we are going to delve into the world of ATC cards. Now, normally people make ATC cards from scratch. So they work with a base that is 2.5 by 3.5 inches. But I have all kinds of leftover interesting pieces of paper that I would like to cut down into 2.5 by 3.5 inch ATC cards and add to make my little artworks. So I'm going to do that right now. I'll do one on screen and then I'll do the rest, and then we can figure out which ones we want to actually play with. So we've got our trimmer. I'm going to start with, actually, you know what? I'm going to use my little trimmer because it gives me a little more space on the counter. There we go. An 8.5 by 11 will go through perfectly. So I'm not going to worry about the outside edges of the paper. I'm going to leave those in as part of the artwork. And I'm doing 2.5 by 3.5. So 2.5, that's 5. So I'm trying to do the math. Sorry, I went blank there for a moment. So, and then this is 8.5. So 3.5 and 3.5 is 7. So we are going to have some leftover bitty bits, but you know how I use those up. Okay. So 7. So I think I'm going to do 3.5 along the long edge of an 8.5 by 11. We'll see how that goes. So there's 3.5. Oops, let's get these guys under. And there's 3.5. And then because I have that edge, I can take that edge off. And I might keep that. I don't know. We'll see. And now these guys can all go on together. And we're going to do the 2.5. So trying to keep that. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. 2.5. Definitely keep. That's a great card piece. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the results. I'm going to turn down my lighting just a tad so you can see a little bit of the detail in this paper. So this is paper that I played with. I actually need to turn down this light too, maybe off. So this is paper that I played with that had I used a shimmery paste and also a glitter paste on this, and I literally just scraped it over the top of the paper. But it's a great background to play with. And you can see that we got, how many? We got 9, I think, out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So even though this was just a play on my part, look at all the fun and interesting backgrounds I have now that I can use for my ATC cards. And these are just backgrounds. They're not, there's nothing on them to lead them towards that finished ATC product. All right, so I'm going to finish the rest of these guys, and I will be back, and we'll go to the next stage. So I just want to give a quick point out. These are my spray sheets. So when I'm doing any spray work, I use a piece of paper and I use it over and over and over again, fold it in half, fold it in quarters, whatever I need to do to spray my whatever I'm working on. But these are beautiful, beautiful pieces. Like, I don't know if you can see that gold on there, but they are awesome. And then some rub-offs that didn't, some pulls that didn't work well in my gel plate. And then this is a piece of paper that I just rolled off some ink onto when I was doing jelly plate printing. So all of these things are options for awesome looking ATC cards. Okay, so here are my little piles. I've cut things up so that they're in useful 2.5 by 3.5 inch sizes, and I've kept them all together in their little bits. But what I'm working on today is I want to do 2 pieces that are considered winter themed. So I'm going to take a little bit of this purple and blue one. So let's spread this out. I don't know if I'll use that, whatever. And now I just put them out, and literally I just look at them to see which one appeals to me for a wintry scene. And I'm just going to turn my light off because I've got some flare there. There, that's a little better. And it's really all about the light. I'm just going to lift my camera a second. There we go. Bring my other light down here. Oh, that's very bright. Too bright. Okay, so we're going to have to make do with no light for the moment. All right, so shadow in the way. There we go. So we got a bunch of things happening. These are fine, but they don't have enough kind of winteriness to me. So it's it's kind of like a play and pick and remove. So I'm going to leave those for another time. So now this guy's going to move up. These guys are going to move over. And I'm going to switch these guys around because I've got lots of purple on those ones and less purple on these ones. I really kind of like that one. So that one's a definite plus. I think these guys have way too much purple. So this is how I kind of bring in my, how I narrow it down for things. I think instantly I like this piece, so I'm just going to stop trying to narrow it down. And this is going to be the base for one of my winter pieces. It's really quite stunning in real life. Now I'm going to flip a light on again to see. These are a little stark, although they could be kind of nice. That one might be a possibility. These are beautiful. Look at these pieces, and they have a gold shimmer to them. So let's put you guys up here. And again, when you have multiples of things, you want to lay them all out and see what jumps out at you. Let's see. I want to see this one more in the light. Yeah, I'm liking that one more than any of these guys. So that was fast. And what about these two? Am I seeing anything different in these two? Shift around a little bit. No, I'm still sticking with that one as a possibility. These again are all just possibilities. And I go through this process with all of the things. So I have some things going horizontal, some things going vertical. It's hard to see the lighting on that one. There we go. That's a little more realistic. That has too much white on it for me right now. This looks not like a winter scene. So I'm down to these guys. Let's split these guys up. See what I think. And I can turn them over. I like the sketchiness of what's going on here. It's kind of icy to me. So there's another one. And then these guys are all beautiful too. This is the spray paper that I just use for my sprays. But I'm just wondering if there is anything that's enough color to make it a winter scene. See, this to me more moves into fall. So I think we're going to leave that for fall. I'm not even going to take one out of that one, although they are beautiful. I like these two guys. They're just gray. Just gray. This one has a pattern with words on it. So that makes the ATC have a direction. So I'm not so sure I want to use that one, because I would like to be able to figure out the direction as I go. So we're going to pull him out. And then this is a fun thing with puffy stuff. This is too much because I do want to still add things to it, but this kind of looks almost like a Christmas tree in a way on the side there. So I'm going to save that one for later and pull that one out. And I just love the color of this. But it really isn't a winter scene, so we're going to pull that aside for another day. Okay, so now we are going to work on these beautiful pieces. So this is, I don't know if that's the direction they're going to go in, but this is what we're starting from. So now the next step is for you to pull out anything that has winter in it. So it can be die cuts, it can be charms, it can be bits and scraps of paper. It's better if it's bits and scraps of paper, to be honest. Words, anything that you can think of to that has the theme of winter in it. So that's the next step. Okay, so I literally found bits and pieces of all kinds of winter things. Some immediately kind of lent themselves to a particular piece, excuse me, and some not so much. And I have like words, and I have all these containers full of things that I've got piles of them. But themed. So, you know, chipboard sentiments and tabs and birds and gold and silver and pewter trinkets. So we're just going to work away and try and pull things together. So one of the things that I saw here that I really liked was these. Let me move that out of the way. I don't know if I'll use that. So I have these little birds and bunnies and things, and they're kind of a wintry type of image you would see. But now it's just a matter of figuring out how this all plays out. See, that's too wide for that. It kind of gets lost on there. Doesn't coordinate. I'm noticing the reflection is very bright on that, but it's not as bright in person. So I'm not feeling this particular guy. Maybe a single bird somewhere, maybe there, coordinates with that color. The bunnies are out. I like these pine cones. And I kind of want to pretend like those might be trees. This is sort of like a very abstract look about things. So I'm thinking pine cones might work on that one. This is too literal. I have these really funky trees, and they're kind of something I can see going on, something like that. Or even these sketchy trees. I don't know where they would go. Sketchy trees. Maybe something like that. So I do multiples all at once. I do a bunch of things all at once. And I just play around with words. And I even cut, you know how some of the zip strips on your paper have the name of the collection? Well, this one said warm and cozy, and I thought those would make great card strips. And I also think it would not be bad here, but I've got to have a warm and cozy layout. The other thing I have made are these little mini snowflakes, and they're made out of plaster. So I've created little snowflakes out of plaster, fancy little corners that we can add in, not so much into the corners, stars. So there's a number of things in here that I can pull out, and I really like those pre-made. Let me turn down the light a bit. Those pre-made hard pieces, because they add that texture to your page. So let's see what else we have here. We're going to get rid of the corners. Although, can we make a tree with the corners? No. Getting carried away. I'm just trying to do quick and simple. Now, this version, what I'm doing here, of card, with made objects, adding made objects, is one way to do ATC cards. The other way is to add more and more layers of stuff, right? I've got little broken bits of things here. I'm just pulling out a few more stars or some snowflakes if I can find them. Here's another one. And I need a number 5. That's a star. Okay, so that'll be it for snowflakes. Now, they're not necessarily all going on that piece, but I just wanted to pull them out. Oh boy. Now I've got to get the mess that I've made here back into the bag. There we go. There we go. So those snowflakes can appear on more than one piece. And then I have words. I have words like all bundled up. And the colorways, or snow day, or so cold. That doesn't really go with that. Let it snow, maybe behind the trees. So I'm just playing around with this. I kind of like this being winter. Not really a fan of these snowflakes, so I'm going to put them aside. So literally I'm just going through my stuff. And I'm going to do the warm and cozy. Will it fit anywhere? No, maybe not this time. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just opening my containers and pulling things out and seeing where things will fit. These are kind of big. That could just be like that. Not sure about those yet. All right, so I'm going to play around a little bit and get them to a point where you can kind of see that there's a direction. Okay, so I have a few things here that I pulled out of my collection of things to use. And This is my my Stickles winter color selection. And I do like my Wink of Stella, so we'll pull that out just in case. And I think that's a good smattering of things to get us started. So I'm going to work on this one first because this is the one that came together really quickly. And basically, I'm fussy, so I trim off these little bitty bits here because I like them to be nice and smooth. Okay, so I'm going to use some Pop Dot and some flat stuff. I'm going to flat tape this down. Actually, I think I'll use glue today because it's more convenient. And I'm using clear glue. And this is just going to go right across the bottom. And then these guys, I'm going to hang at different lengths off the page. Oops. There we go. And this little guy, I'm going to stick inside here. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue. And there's my pin. And this guy I'm going to pop up. Just need one piece to go right through there. This one was super easy. So likely had I done this from scratch, it would have been, the background would have taken longer. And now this, you just push right into the foam, into the position you want to have it. There you go. And there's my first one. Super simple, right? Now I need my long scissors because this is longer than the blade I have. There we go. There's one card ready to go. Like I said, this is not the From the Scrap multi-textured card. This is just a very throw together with your scraps kind of card. So the next one we're going to work with is this one. And again, I'm going to trim off all those little edges that are left on the die cuts. There, that's done. And this, I think I might, no, it'll be all right. I was going to ink it, but I think I won't. It is going to be pop dotted. And it's going to go right here in the corner. And I'm going to put my little paper clip underneath, because paper clips are fun to add to things. And this one I think I will also pop dot. Just two small pieces. There we go. That'll go like that. And then I'm just going to add a little dot, gold dot there, and that's it. And there's my other little piece. Now this one is going to be a challenge. I want to put a snowy hill here across the bottom. So I'm going to take some, where are we? Snowfall paste. And I am going to apply it flat, but across the bottom, because I want these guys to sit sort of on top of it, but I also want it to look like snow. So let's get my stencil, and I'm just going to apply that right on. And there's no ink or anything to come off on my paste, so I can dip right in. I'm not worried about contaminating it. And I'm just going to make sure it gets right down to the bottom there. And a tiny bit more here. And I really want to build up this slope. I'm going to get that right to the edge all the way around. Now you'll notice that some of these papers are very lightweight, so I will go back afterwards and mount them onto cardstock to make them more strong. There we go. And tuck that right inside. So I'm going to leave this aside while I work on the others. Sure, there's nothing there. I'm going to leave that over there too. Alrighty. Now this one, I don't know quite what I'm doing with this one. We're going to trim this out for sure. Alright. Now these guys have quite an edge on them, so I am going to trim that off. Sorry, I'm out of camera, but it's a little bit easier to trim it off when my eyeballs are right on top of it. And I just want to get that white off because I find it's a little too much. There we go. And now it looks to me more like a pine cone. So I'm going to do that to all of them. And in that fast speed imagery that I just did there, you'll see that I do move the paper, not the scissors. The scissors stay still. Okay, so I'm having a difficulty with this, but I think it'll be okay. I don't have a habit of putting things in right in the center, so I'm going to trim off both sides of this to make it a little smaller. Whoops, let's close the snowfall paste up and get our trimmer out, and I'm just going to trim off the sides of this because I want it to be more left or more right. It's not very much, but it will make a difference when I line it up with one side versus the other side. So it won't be centered. Woo! I stuck that right in my snow paste. All right. Good to go. And on this one, I thought it would be fun to hang, to either put a heart clip maybe right across that, like that, or to hang our little friend, the owl, on there. Or we could do both. No, it's one or the other. We'll figure it out. So anyway, this is going to go down now. It's going to be puffed. There we go. And I'm going to have it right up at the edge on one side. There we go. And now these guys, I'm going to sort of tuck in a cluster, and I might have to trim one. Yeah. I'm just going to trim the bottom of one so it's a little bit shorter, maybe more on an angle. There we go. So that can go there, and then that can go on the other side on an angle. Whoop, more of an angle. There we go. There we are. So we have our little pine cones in there. So let's do that. And they're just going to be flat on the bottom. And then I'm going to puff them up on the top, which I probably should do now. Okay, so I'm just going to roll the top edge with my fingernail so it gives a little bit of a curve. And it makes you feel like it's got a bit of roundness to it. So just rounding it under and gluing the bottom. Gives it a little bit of depth. There we go. Again, rolling this. Doesn't matter which side you roll it from as long as you don't scrape the front. And there we go. Whoops. Push him down. And when they're all stuck down, I'll go back in and puff it up a little bit more. Now, do I want the heart? Let's see how that heart would look on there. No, it's really more of a thing that sticks out. Yeah, nope, we're going to say no to the heart. And we're going to put down some snowflakes. Like the big one up at the top there. Now let's play around with the sizes. How does that look? That looks all right. These guys are a little close. Don't want those to be on the same eyeball level. Okay, so we're going to actually move him in a little bit. There we go. So far, so good. Now, where can we put our little owl? Kind of like I'm sitting on top. So I just need to take off the ring because I'm just going to glue him straight down on the back. Oh, he's detailed on the back too. Isn't that cool? Whoops. Just lost all the glue. Alrighty. We're just going to have him sit right on top of the pile there. In between the two snowflakes. Alright. And that one is done. like I said, these will all be put on card. Now this little guy here, I like this. This reminds me of tree. So I'm not going to change it and try to make it more tree. I'm going to leave it just a hint of tree. Trim off any of the doodads on here. Actually, this one's not too bad. Now, the birdie has too much white around him, so we are going to trim him off. There we go. Alrighty, now let's see. So, I can put snow day there. And I can put the 31st button up there. I can have the little birdie. Now he needs to stand on something. What if I have the 31st down here? And then our little bird can be standing on it. Not liking that. So I like snow day down here. I like bird standing on snow day. 31st can just go up in the corner. And we'll add some bubbles to the tree. Now I do have a paper a pin. I was hoping to find something that I could hang, but I don't feel I have anything that works for that. So I'm going to say no to the pin. Alrighty. So first I'm going to put the 31st in. And he's going to go right about there. Just need my poker, and I don't know where my poker is. So I'll use a pin. This is harder media paper, so it is easier to poke. So now that I've got that hole in there, I can start to make a little bigger hole and turn 31 in the right direction. Make sure 31 is nicely put before I put the pressure on it. There we go. Pop dot. The snowy day. Mine all seem to have the same direction, don't they? Well, sometimes that happens. Like sometimes you just like things in a particular direction. And our little snowbird will just sit right there. Do I want to pop him a little bit? Good question. Popping or not popping? I have thin popping stuff, so I think I will use a little of the thin popping stuff. That's this 1 millimeter. And I will just give him a semi-pop. I'm not going to worry about his tail. And then he will just sit right there. There we go. So he's not as popped as the other one is. He's popped in a lower profile. And let's put Christmas ornaments here and there. Now, I think I need another ornament there. I am going to use, those are 3 gold. what am I going to use there? I think I'll just put a pop of red. A pop of red. So let me get my pop of red. I just feel like I need something. Just make sure it comes out okay. Whoop, yep. And maybe a little one there. A little one there. And a little one there. There we go. That's just a little pop of red. And that one is finished. It has to dry, obviously. Okay, let's get back to this guy. This guy's almost dry. I'm just going to hit him with some heat. No, it just needs a little bit more. So he can live over there. We're going to finish off this guy. And I think I'm going to trim this guy out. Maybe I'll trim him down with my cutter first. I'm going to get him down to just the words. So I'm really going to get close. And there we go. It's a little closer. So the word pops out a bit more. And this time we're going to try him on the left side. And we're going to have these guys on the right side. And again, I'm going to trim out these trees. Although, I don't mind it on this because I have some white on there and this is very abstract. I might just leave. I just might leave the trees the way they are. Okay. So, this guy's going to go flush. And he's going to go a little bit higher than the other ones because he's going to be in the background. I'm going to push him as far as I can to one side. These guys are going to have a low pop. So my 1mm stuff. All right. And I'm going to keep the edges on this one. And they're going to be a little bit lower, but popped up. Do you see how there is a difference? And then winter is going to be popped up sky high. And he's going to go, winter's going to go right over top of everything. There we go. So we have some dimension on the card. It's hard to see. Once I get this down on a stiff cardstock, it'll be more noticeable. So there's another one that's like literally done. And now, I think this one will be fine for now. It's still a little tacky, but it's not coming off. So these guys, all right. So he is going to sort of stick right there. I'm going to have to glue him. These are stickers, but when they go on top of textured things, you have to sort of support them. Now, those two are coming apart, but they're going to go back together. So they're going to be on the farthest hill. And this guy is going to go right beside. There we go. He's going to go right beside. That's that. And this guy needs a tiny bit of glue. Just to keep him. Actually, he needs a pop dot. So let's just glue those down for a second. And now I'm going to get a little glue dot. I'm going to put two small glue dots together. So there's one. You can't see this because they are clear. Two small glue dots together, and that should help support the tree. Uh-oh, my snow has come off. Alrighty, and I'll just put a little bit of glue down there. Yikes. I'm sticking myself to the tree. There we go. There, that's supporting it now. So that's all good. All right. And I think I'm just going to let it snow in its circular form, and I'm going to glue it flat. And I'm just making it up as I go, folks. Let it snow. Hopefully that's straight. And then I put these three guys here. Whoopsie. There we go. And that's card number 5. Very cool. Loving it. All right, so we have just got to put our cardstock on the back of these to make them a little stiffer and a little stronger. I'm going to grab some cardstock. Alrighty, so I found double-sided tape. I cut all of my pieces that I need for this round of creative, and now I'm going to stick them on cardstock. Now obviously if you were working with mixed media initially, you would start off with a heavy-duty mixed media cardstock, but because mine were all different types of media or papers, foundations, I'm putting them onto pieces of cardstock to keep them rigid. So this first piece, I think this is, I'm going to have to measure it. So this is what you would consider 2-inch wide, or I don't have millimeters on this one. Let's use this one. 2 inches or 50.1 millimeters. So 2 inches basically. So I put that along one side and I lined it up right with the edge. And now I'm going to take an add-on piece and put it right along the other top edge, because the thing you want the most to happen is the edges to stick well, because you don't want them peeling back. All right, And this one is, uh, 12 millimeters, or just say 1/2 inch. Okay, so those are the two sizes you'll need if you're doing any of this work with the ATC cards, and you put it along the horizontal side, like the longest side. All right, so here we go. So this is our piece. Make sure you have all the edges nice and firmly down so that you can pick up without any trouble. And if you're, I should probably show you this. If you're worried about getting it exactly how it should be on the piece, then you can wing back your papers and only pull off one portion at a time. Like that. There we go. And now that is all secure. Now I'm noticing I must have cut this just slightly short, so when you have that happen, you can just adjust. So that it's right to the edges. And there we go. Now it's a nice stiff piece. And we can still do some doodads on that one. So let's take our other one, making sure it's nice and attached. We're going to wing this so that we only put a portion of it on at a time. And we can line it up properly. There we go. So that's showing very nicely. And then that plops down very nicely. And this one is perfect. So we didn't undercut this one at all. So that's nice and stiff now. Nice stiff ATC card. And could use a little more bling maybe. This one's already on cardstock, but for argument's sake, I am going to put it on cardstock again. Just so you can see that the mounting on cardstock really makes a difference. It helps to keep everything nice and sturdy. There we go. Now I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue on this one because it's lifting off. So, oops. Doing it off camera because I can't see it so well. There we go. So I've got it glued down there. And now it won't shift around. Okay. So let's see what we have. Oops. Sticky scissors is what we have. Get these all out of the way so we can look at our finished work and add some doodads. Alrighty. So we have 3 of these and 3 of these. So the only real rule, other than the fact that they have to be mini artworks, excuse me, is that it be 2.5 by 3.5 in size. So we have mastered that, and now we need to just do a little bit of touching up. So I like my Wink of Stella. It's very easy to use, and I'm gonna, even though this is gold, the Wink of Stella is so sparkly and it has multiple sparkles in it, gold and silver, that you don't really notice that it's less gold than the gold snowflake that's on here. Spread that out a little bit. So there you have some shimmer. Whoop. There you can see the shimmer, the sparkle. Okay, and it just adds that little tiny bit of something. And I think I may put something in the center there. Maybe a dot of red, not sure. And again, I'm going to do this. It just elevates those paper elements to something that's a little more interesting to look at. There we go. And so we have the sparkle there at the bottom. Now, you can get fussy and you can just do it in the actual words, which is why it has a great pen. Whoops. That's why it's not fitting in there. Okay, now I do want to I'm going to put a little bit of the red in the center of this. It just needs some kind of contrast. There we go. And that red, just when it's dry, will make it look beautiful and finished. Nice. So there's one. These guys are on a sparkly background. I'm gonna test on the small thing to see if I can make sparkly snowflakes, and they do sparkle. Does it change the color? A little bit. So we're gonna make our snowflakes sparkle, just dragging that Wink of Stella clear over top. All right. And I actually think I'm going to also add a dot of color. And it's going to be tricky because this flows very fast. Ooh, it's amazing I could get it that small. You have to get some of the glitter in there or else it doesn't show up as red. So that's not going to work really well. Before it dries. Now, I got to get some sparkle in there. Oh well, he's got a bigger blob in order to get the red in there. Alrighty. And I quite like that. That little bit of red pops that up a tad. So this is working out very nicely. Not sure yet about what's going on there. Not sure yet about what's going on here. This is a very simple one. I could circle that with some glitter. Because the snow, the snow isn't very glittery in the, oh, but I do have sparkle. So this is where we get into crazy time. Now, what color is the sparkle though? If it's silver, it's not going to work. Oh, it's gold sparkle. So I'm going to go in with a brush, very, very, very fine brush. That might be too big. That's better. I'm going to take some of the sparkle and I'm just going to spread it because it's clear based. All I'm going to get is the sparkly texture. I'm probably going to have to do this twice, but it dries clear with sparkle, which is kind of fun. And it just happens to be a gold sparkle, which is awesome because that matches what's going on. There we go. So I don't know if I can get that showing on. You see the sparkle that's there? It's wet as well. So once the wetness is dried, all you have is the sparkle on the leaded snow. So we'll put a second coat of that on off camera, but you'll see the finished product in the beginning. And before this dries, we're gonna put some water down, smoosh that around. You don't want to have a dried out paintbrush. Oh, there we go. And we'll just sop that up. Put a little more just to make sure that it's nice and clean for the second round. Put our lid on because, as we know, things dry out very quickly, especially in the winter. So that is going to get a second coat, so I'm just going to put that close by. This, I think I'm done with this. It's just plain and simple and sparkly. So we're going to leave that aside. This one, I feel like it needs the snow day sparkled. So this is when you push that ink down till it drips. Okay. And you just dot it very carefully. So the bigger thing, the bigger words, the bigger you can dot. Now, I see that I've gone over. So I just grab something that's pointy but doesn't have a really serious point, and I just go in there and I push all that where I want it to go. There we go. And now you can see snowy day. Look at how glittery that is. Crazy, right? And I think that's all that really needs. And this, we can do the same thing. Or, what could we do that's even more exciting? I've got Wink Style all over me now. There we go. Let's see. What do I want to do with this? Do I want to put some stickles? There's so many things you can choose to do. Where's Diamond? All right. You do have to have steady hands for this kind of thing, so I'm just going to squish out and make sure stuff is coming out very nicely. Now, I think I'm just going to put it along the inside of the flag. So I'm leaving about a 1/16 of an inch. And remember, stickles dries flat, so you don't have to worry. As long as you've got stickles there, it will be fine. There we go. And so that just gives you a little more shine on that. Little mini cards. So let's bring them all down so we can show you what we've accomplished today with our sparkle and everything else. Oop. Let's get that nice and straight. This one is almost dry. And where's my other one? Here we go. And there we are. Our 6 ATCs made from our leftover crafting scraps and some doodads that were lying around for wintertime. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with your friends, and we will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the link at the end of the video. Bye!